Section 3. Navigate within workbooks. In this section, we are looking at navigating within workbooks. It will cover the following questions. 2A. Search for data within a workbook. 2B. Navigate to named cells or ranges. From the study guide, which is provided to you with this course.
It's find and replace. So you say, sir, find and replace is simple. What's there to learn in find and replace? I'm showing you something very interesting in find and replace, which is why you're going to find it again quite interesting to learn. So I have a question here. I'm just going to follow the question now and give the answer. And then we will see and explore more options under find and replace. So let's look at the question. He says, class schedule 1, find all instances of the word yoga on the class schedule worksheet and change the first instance of the word yoga to hot yoga. Now, he's being very specific. He's saying that you have to just find the word yoga and replace it with hot yoga, and you have to change only the first instance of the word yoga. So now, let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to open class schedule 1. All right. I've opened the class schedule 1. As you can see, it's a file. It's got some data. And he's telling us, you please find the word yoga and replace it with hot yoga. So I will go to find. And I will straight go to replace. Why? Because I have to replace the word. I don't have to just find. So I will go to replace. So he asked me, what do you want to find? I say, I want to find yoga. And what do you want to replace it with? I say hot yoga. Okay. So I'm very happy with my find and replace. I've done exactly what he wanted me to do. And I have the option known as find next, find all, replace all, and replace. Now the question specifically tells me that you have to find and replace only the first instance of the word yoga. Because he tells me only one instance, I will not click find all, or I will not click replace or replace all. I will click first find next. When I click find next, it takes me straight away to hot yoga instead of yoga. Now we are in trouble here. Because I did find next thinking that he'll take me to yoga, but he brought me to hot yoga. So I do a find next again and he brings me to yoga. And I say replace. So my yoga now has got replaced to hot yoga. See that? Correct? This was the question and this is the answer. You have to basically go do a find next till you find the word yoga. And then just hit replace. Don't hit replace all. Don't do find all. Just do a simple find and a simple replace. So find next and replace. This is how you work with a normal find and replace. Now, coming to something more interesting. So I'm going back here and I'm making this yoga again. Now I'm getting out of the question. What I'm doing with you all now is not a part of the question. All right. I finished the question and the answer. So I have a yoga in this case, and I go to find and I go to replace. And I say, okay, I want to find the word yoga and I want to replace it with hot yoga. That sounds good. But I want you to find only those cells which have got the word yoga. And I have got 2 sheets in my file. Class schedule and instructor. I want all the instances of yoga, wherever the word yoga is in this file, to be replaced with hot yoga. But if there is a cell which has got hot yoga written inside it, I don't want it to be replaced again with hot yoga, right? Now I'm just going to do what you would have done in this case? You would have said find all or replace all. So I say find all करने की जरूरत नहीं है, मैं replace all कर देता हूँ. I do a replace all. He says he made 2 replacements. Okay. Let's see his replacements. So first he did hot yoga. Absolutely correct. Let's scroll down and see what happened. Oh, what did he do? I told him to find what? Yoga. He has even replaced hot yoga. Yeah. Hot yoga को hot yoga कर दिया उसने. गड़बड़ है ये. And what about my next sheet? Here तो he is still yoga. He didn't replace this with hot yoga. That means my find and replace is not working, isn't it? Naturally, इधर गड़बड़ है. उसने योगा को हॉट योगा में कर दिया, हॉट योगा को हॉट योगा कर दिया, और जो नेक्स्ट शीट में था जहां पे योगा था उसको हॉट योगा किया ही नहीं उसने. चलो भाई, वेरी गुड. नाउ व्हाट डू वी डू? This is happening because when I go to my find and replace, I am working with only the basic structure of find and replace. We have to be very specific to Excel and tell him, listen, you have to be specifically finding only yoga for me. And you have to replace hot yoga with yoga wherever the word yoga appears. For doing that, I go to options. Under options, I've got one thing known as match case, which is matching the spelling. If it's capital, it will be capital. If it's small, it will be small. And what is the next thing important is match entire cell content. That means the word yoga is the entire cell. If there is yoga written with something else, then please don't replace those cells. Now I did this match entire cell contents. So he will find yoga and replace it with hot yoga. If there is hot yoga already written, he will not replace that because of this match entire cell contents. Second, I am telling him to find within a sheet. I have yoga written on 2 sheets. So I'm going to tell him, you find workbook for me. You will find the word yoga in the entire workbook and you will replace that for me. When I do these options, now watch how well it works when I do replace all. He says he made 2 replacements. Okay. So yoga became hot yoga. Hot yoga stayed as hot yoga. It did not change. And the yoga in the next sheet, instructors, has also got changed to hot yoga. This is the correct way of using find and replace. So he says over here, class schedule 1, navigate to the instructor's 4 named range, then change the contents of the cell to charts. Now, before I do this question, I will do this question. But before I do this question, I will explain to you the concept of what is named range so that this question becomes very easy for you. Then we'll just do the question. I don't need to explain. I'll just follow the steps and show it to you all. Let's understand what is name range. So I've opened my sheet. You should be able to see it now. So I've got instructors over here. Amy is there, Charlie is there, Melanine is there. There's a blank guy over here. And right now I don't have anybody, but I might have more instructors coming in. So right now, and this is my class schedule, I know what time, what class is going on. So I've got somebody entering in and inquiring that I am interested in your, suppose, hot yoga class. Or let's take a class where we have an instructor, for example, strength training. So somebody comes and says, I'm interested in strength training. Okay. So who's the instructor of strength training? So you'll say, I think Amy is the instructor of strength training. Okay. No problem. So you know that Amy is the one who's doing strength training. Tomorrow, if Amy is not there and David comes in, and if somebody comes in inside the center and says, by the way, I'm interested in strength training, who is training? And you will land up saying what? Amy. Because you're used to Amy doing the strength training. So he says, okay, fine, thank you. I'll be there for the class. He comes for the class and he enters the room and he says, and he sees a few girls and a few boys, and he lands up looking at one girl exercise and he says, I'm John, and Amy, I would love to learn from you. And the girl will be like, sorry, I'm not Amy, and he'll be, oh, sorry, I thought Amy is doing this training. And David will say, I'm the one who's training. Now that becomes embarrassing, not only for the student, but for you also, because you told that student that the strength training class is being conducted by Amy, but Amy had fallen sick and David came in place of Amy, which you were not aware of, and this got messed up. ऐसा हो सकता है ना? क्यों नहीं? What I told you is possible, no? It's not necessary that you will know everybody who's coming to train. If it's a big organization of 100 people, sorry, हमको पता होता है भाई 100 लोग में कौन कब क्या कर रहा है. I'm assuming the organization to be a big one, not like 10-12 लोग का organization. फिर तो हमको पता होता है 10-12 ही है. If the organization is large, then this is going to happen. So like I told you all that a cell name is more important than the value. The same goes for instructors. Who is instructor at that time is not important. What is important is the instructor number. So what we do is we create something known as a cell name. A cell name helps us to understand that every cell has been given an individual identity. And based on that identity, I should be able to locate what is there in that cell. All right. So how do we do this? I gave you the reason why we do this. We do this because we don't want to create a situation like I told you. So every single cell over here, Excel has already given a name. Watch. When I go to Amy, it says instructor 1. When I go to Melan, it says instructor 2. Hot yoga, there is nobody right now, but he's already named instructor 3. There's Charlie, who's instructor 4. I could have somebody else, like I told you, for example, David. He could be teaching, let's say, what else do we have? Dance. David does not have an instructor name. Right now, David is A6. So if somebody comes here and he says, by the way, who's teaching dance? Dance, A6. Sounds bad. Huh? Instructor number 6. Huh. It sounds proper. So we have to rename this cell A6 and call it instructor 6. So when you go to formula bar on the top, we have something known as name manager. Under name manager, you can see already there is instructor 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? अब ये 5 है, 6 नहीं है. Number 6 तो ये है, 5 है actually. So I go new and name I call it instructor 5. Now mind you, I can't leave a gap. When you're giving a name to a cell, you're supposed to keep it continuous. So instructor 5. ये आ गया instructor sheet पे A6 and I say okay. अब David जो है वो instructor 5 हो गया. चलो done. So I'm here. Now see what happens. All right. So as I told you, this is my basic order. Amy teaches strength. This one, Charlie does cardio. Dance is done by David. Unfortunately, Amy fell sick And strength training and cardio training, both of them have good knowledge, Amy and Charlie. So Amy got replaced by Charlie because Amy was not there today. So Charlie is conducting 2 batches for me, strength as well as cardio. This is a scenario I'm giving you. The person enters inside and says, okay, I'm interested in strength training. Can you tell me who's doing strength training? I say, yeah, give me a minute. I'll tell you right now today who's training or who's doing strength training. Watch what I do. I go to find and I go to go to. And I know that instructor 1 is strength training. And I click OK. Watch. The sheet shows me Charlie. So I'll say, today's strength training is being done by Charlie. No embarrassment, total professionalism, and a perfect way to handle a situation. Because I had named instructor 1. Now, if you find this difficult, I'm making it even easier for you. Instead of instructor 1, instructor 2, instructor 3, what I can do is I can actually name instructor 1 as strength training. अब और मजा आएगा because अब मुझे जो कोर्स का इंक्वायरी है वो नाम डाल रहा हूं. Instructor 1 becomes strength training. Instructor 2, because it's very difficult for you to know again instructor number wise, right? 2 is swimming. So I will just go here and say instructor 2 is swimming. Now see the fun when I do my search. Now when a person comes to me and says, by the way, I'm interested in swimming, can I know who's going to be training me? I'll just do this. Go to swimming. No need to do instructor 1, 2, 3. Forget about that. Meko kya chahiye tha? Swimming. And I'd say, okay. And there it is. Today, this lady is teaching you swimming. Khatam. A cell name helps you to do a find, which becomes very practical in situations like these, like the one I have explained to you right now. Now, the question which was there will make sense to you. Very easy. He says on class schedule 1, navigate to instructor 4 name range, then change the contents of the cell to Charles. So now it's very easy. He's telling us to go to instructor number 4. So I will go to find and I will say replace and I will say, sorry, I'll go to, not replace. You can't do replace here. You do go to and go to instructor 4 and unfortunately Charlie will become Charles. Physical entry, done.